today on Divorce Court.
I'm here because I want to marry Kadeem, but we have a lot of problems. And without him fixing some of those problems, I don't see us getting married anytime soon.
Things can't get done if, you're always complaining, you have to get some breathing room. You can't just complain and expect things to happen, Stuff won't happen like that. You can't put a nail so far in and expect it to go in anymore.
If Kadeem doesn't change, I'll take both my kids and I'll leave because I can do bad by myself and he's no help.
Divorce Court is now in session.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here today with Ajane Hudson and Kadeem Pearson. Ms. Hudson and Mr. Pearson are here for Before Your Vows. They are two people in love wondering whether they should marry. They filled out my compatibility test, and they also had a burning question, at least Mr. Pearson, you do. You have two children.
Yes.
And you're concerned that the first one might not be yours.
Yes.
So we did give a DNA test, and we do have the results of that DNA test, which I will give you. But I'm going to start with Ms. Hudson. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your relationship to date?
Well, we have two children. We met when I was 15 years old. I was in and out of group homes, so I could only see him on the weekends, but eventually I ran away and I stayed with him. I ended up sneaking into his mom's house. 2 days later, she caught me. She started yelling. It was a big problem. She got mad, basically. We walked around the block a couple times until we ran into an abandoned house. We kept noticing the lights were on, but nobody was there. So we eventually we'll go look, cut the water on, see that the water was still running. Eventually we start living there. We had covers and TV and everything. Until the lights stopped working and the water stopped running.
How long did you live there before?
2 months.
Really?
Yes. And then the lights stopped working and stuff, so we eventually left. I had ended up getting arrested at the train station because we were asleep on the train, but I didn't pay for a train ticket, so they sent me back to placement. After that, I guess he got a girlfriend, and I was back at placement.
Okay. How did you two run back into each other after she went back into placement?
I was riding my bike one day, and I seen her on the train, and switched Facebooks, and it was her birthday, several months later, it was her birthday or whatever, she seemed like she was having a bad day on the internet. Hey, what you doing, I'll come kick it with you, it's your birthday, So I went to her house and, we chilled. It was her birthday, we chilled all night. I spent the night on her birthday, we came back in the morning, and that was that. We've been together ever since.
You've been together ever since?
Every day since
How
then.
long were you together before you got pregnant with your first one? The second time you got together?
We started back talking in April. I think I conceived in June. So yeah, maybe a full month.
Is either one of you working right now?
I am.
You're working?
Yes.
You are not working? No. Okay. Why don't you believe the oldest, Khalil, is yours?
Well, he doesn't react like my youngest son do. He don't be around me, you get me? Even when I'm around him, he doesn't play with me, he doesn't smile, he'll run to her or he'll run off. He'll run to her dad before he run to me.
When he see him sometimes.
No, I don't care about the excitement. He'll run to her dad before he run to me. You get me? It's my son, not you.
Okay, my daddy be around him.
Do you think that that's genetically controlled? Like a kid will run to his biological father more than another guy if.
It should be something you feel, oh, this is my daddy, not him. You feel me? Yeah, you here, because I'm not, obviously, But this is, he shows no interest in me whatsoever. You get me? I'm just a stranger walking by on the block.
That's interesting. But I do understand that when you first had him, you were wrongfully incarcerated.
Yeah.
Tell me what happened to you, because you guys got stories.
No. When I first had Khalil, he wasn't in jail.
Oh, okay.
No, he was not. He didn't go to jail till Khalil was 4 months, 5 months. He had all the chances in the world to get to know Khalil.
I was around Khalil. That's the thing. I was around Khalil. I was gonna see him all the time. So that's nothing. You feel me? I seen Khalil as much as I can, so I start working. I bought a car. Well, we bought a car or whatever.
And he
start
disappeared.
Working. All right, so what? And
right.
Oh, Mr. Pearson, can I say this to you?
We bought a car.
I know you guys have had a hard time. I've never heard stories quite this hard. You went to prison for somebody else. Wasn't your fault, all of that. Nobody there to guide you, out on your own. But the one thing you got to know is you got to be able to be respectful of one another, because it'll never work out, because you're the center, the core, right here. You know what I mean? So that don't matter. Mm-hmm. Don't ever disregard her like that. Same goes for you. It's not cool, okay? Mm-hmm. I know nobody ever, but I'm telling you now, it's not cool, okay? Go ahead.
Actually, he had all the time in the world to get to know Khalil. He decided to go hang out with other people. After he got a job and got a car, he acted like he was above me and his kids.
So he was balling a little bit. So
that's why he don't know Khalil. That's why he don't know Khalil. Not because he couldn't, or he was. It's because he didn't want to. He didn't want to know Khalil at that time. He had a car. He was balling.
When I had chances to go over there, like I said, I had my own life to live. You feel me? When I had chances to go over there, I went over there. I seen him every chance I can. She called me early in the morning. Yeah, I'm way over there already. Yeah, I'm gonna take my time to get over there because I'm obviously doing something else, but I'm over there. Mm-hmm. You know,
but you guys weren't living together at the time that she had Khalil.
He would never come.
Okay, you were living separately?
Yeah.
When did you two start living together?
Recently, like within the last 2 years.
Within the last 2 years?
Yeah.
When's the last time you were working?
When I went to jail, in September last year.
Okay. So you're still trying to recover from that mess.
Yeah,
Tell me what happened.
One night, me and the homie was out late, went to get some food, and on the way home, we got arrested because somebody got robbed in the area. It was mistaken identity. Mm-hmm. It took 6 months, but after that, everything got dismissed. But upon trying to recover my property, my ID got lost. Everything got lost, and so I had to go to the DMV. Found out that my license was suspended. And I have to go to the DMV, get the fees for that, go to the court.
It's a hot mess.
And that's 2-3 months of trying to get myself together back, and that was in February. Now it's barely September,
Okay, I got you. You say you can't trust him. Why not?
Because this girl, I don't know, she got my phone number, she got all of my social media accounts, and she started really harassing me, talking about he's her baby daddy too, and where is our man at, and...
Mr. Pearson, do you know which person she's talking about? When did you get pregnant with the second one?
A month after I had Khalil.
Really?
Yes.
And you don't have any questions about paternity on the baby? None whatsoever?
No, none at
you're
all.
clear that it's yours?
He's my twin. I had him. He's my twin. My youngest baby looks dead on like me.
Okay.
Is it because he's light-skinned?
Yeah, okay. You guys are trying to decide whether or not to get married. What are your concerns that you have about marrying Mr. Pearson?
Okay, so maybe I feel like it's certain things that he's entitled to do. Like, okay, I work, so I feel like sometimes when I ask him to do something, he should just get up and go do it instead of telling me, oh, let me do it when I feel like it. No, just get up and go do it, because that's the only thing you're doing. But I guess maybe, I don't know. So I just feel
Well, do you ask him like that?
Yes, it'd be worse than that. It'd be way worse. She has the worst attitude in the world. So it don't matter.
Okay.
Not being tired, but she'll come in screaming and like, what is you screaming for? I'm tired too. You tired? I'm tired too.
For what? You should have been asleep.
You've been up doing what?
I've been up with the baby. Every time I get ready, nice and comfortable, go to sleep, my son wake up. And she didn't seen it. So every time you get comfortable, ready to sleep.
But you do understand that when you're home with the kids, you got to take care of some stuff around the house. I mean, you just do. I mean, that's how that works. If one person's out working...
I do clean and do whatever and stuff, but if I don't clean to her liking, it's not good enough for her. I can't...
Well, then you should learn how to clean up. Google it. Because, I mean...
See, I
Miss Hudson, Miss Pearson, Miss Hudson, I'm gonna help you like I was trying to help him. And I know you haven't had anybody, so I'm not trying to be mean. You know what I mean? I'm trying to help you out. You start out nice, always, because it's easier that way on everybody. And you say, yo, man, could you please? I'm out here working. Could we get this done? Could we do that? Do the other thing? And when he does do it right, men like a little applause. Give him some applause and work with him. Don't work at him. And I think the world's been throwing a lot of darts at both of you. Mm-hmm. All the time. You're just getting hit. You get up, hit. And so you're even defensive with one another. It's like you don't come at him kind and cool. You come at him with that hard because you've got that edge, because something's always coming at you. And you're talking really fast, and when you listen, I think you hear that I'm picking at you when I'm not. And you keep, oh, no, wait, get it right, You know, and what I'm going to ask you to do if you don't do anything else is to sit back and calm yourselves before you do anything ever. You know what I mean? When you're dealing with people, when you're going places, when you're talking to each other, just calm yourself a little bit and give yourself an opportunity to catch up with how you feel. You with me? Mm-hmm. You got me? You say you can't trust him. Why not?
Because this girl, I don't know, she got my phone number, she got all of my social media accounts, and she started really harassing me, talking about he's her baby daddy too, and where is our man at, and sending me pictures in his sweater. She sent me a picture in his sweater, because we had matching sweaters made when we found out I was pregnant. She sent me a picture in his sweater, so I'm just like, okay. I asked him about it, and he said he didn't even know it was missing out of his back seat.
I know it was missing out
Mr.
the trunk.
Pearson, do you know which person she's talking about?
Yeah, I know exactly who she's talking about. That was a friend's girlfriend's friend. But we never talked. It was nothing, never serious. It's 9 months later. She still ain't had the baby she said she was claiming she had by me.
So it's just, she's just talking.
Yeah, you know, and it's just like, yeah, we talked like, we didn't talk like in a serious, serious conversation. It was a high and by type of thing, high and by, whatever you want to ride, let's go.
I got you.
You know?
Well,
and
let me ask you this. And I want you to take a minute before you answer. I want you to tell me what your reservations are about marrying Ms. Hudson.
He has a bike. He will go get his seat fixed before he went to go apply for an ID. Mm-hmm. Sonny needed wipes. He wanna, let me do this on my bike real fast. Let me take pictures with my bike.
Do you put your bicycle before your kids ever when it comes to either time or money? What concerns do you have about getting married? Why isn't it an easy decision for you?
Because I feel like if we did, eventually get married, move in together, it'd be problems over little things, I have a problem with coming in and taking my jacket off and leaving it on the floor. Mm-hmm. I will get it eventually. Let me take this off and calm down. Then I will come back and get my stuff up. As soon as I put it on the floor, she said something about it. Come on, let me sit down, let me go to the bathroom, If I clean, I clean. I'm half cleaning it because I only sprayed this side and wiped the whole thing because I only spray right here. It's enough spray to get the whole thing. Mm-hmm. It's always, I feel like it's always going to be something she's going to find and say something about.
Gotcha. Ms. Hudson, what are your main concerns? I know you believe that he cheated with his ex, and I also know that you're concerned about his lack of seriousness because he's riding his bicycle around all the time.
He has a bike. He will go get his seat fixed before he went to go apply for an ID. Mm-hmm. Sonny needed wipes. He wanna, let me do this on my bike real fast. Let me take pictures with my bike. Or you could just go get Sonny wipes because his butt finna have diaper rash. Mm-hmm. I mean,
do you put your bicycle before your kids ever when it comes to either time or money?
No, I don't put my bike before anything. I can't even look at my bike without her complaining about it. Mm-hmm. If I have a bike, it's a problem with her. Like I can't, if I go outside, like I smoke cigarettes. If I go outside, smoke a cigarette, take a picture of my bike, it's a problem.
Why would you take a picture of your bike?
To put it on social media. It's a nice bike. So say, hey, this is my bike. And then if it gets stolen, hey, all my friends know this was his bike. If it gets stolen, they know what my bike looked like. But it's...
Do you really believe he cheated with his ex?
Okay, I don't know about the whole ex thing, but the girl who sent me a picture in his sweater, I feel like he cheated on me with her. She looked like a girl.
Can I say this? In you guys' position, when you get pregnant, don't go out and buy matching sweaters. You ain't got that kind of money. You know what I mean? You need to make wise decisions with your money because you've got mouths to feed.
I
and
just feel like you should
clothes.
value our matching sweaters, though. Obviously, those are sentimental.
I mean, it's not about valuing the sweaters. I lived out my car. All my clothes was in my car. If this girl is in my car and she picks up the clothes,
No. You guys are not understanding what I'm saying. Don't buy dumb stuff if you don't have enough money.
It was like...
Matching sweaters is dumb stuff. Diapers, food, that's all important stuff. You with me?
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
I like you. I'm worried about both of you. But I like you. I think you're doing your best in a bad situation. I think you didn't get a lot of good starts in life, and there's a lot of things you need to figure out. But the first thing you need to figure out is who that baby belongs to. So definitely, that's the first thing we need to clear up. Mr. Pearson, Do you treat the kids any differently?
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
he does.
I'm not gonna sugar. I do. My younger son looks like my twin. I'm gonna play with him more. My oldest son does not enjoy the time I try to spend
My
with
oldest
him.
son feels some type of way.
Okay, but I try to spend time with him, and he still don't change. It's been a whole, I don't know how long, 4 or 5 months, and I've been.
He already don't
4
like
and 5 months, that's not very long. You know, you parent for 18, 20, 25, 30
Yeah,
years.
I've been gone, what, 6 months? I didn't have that whole.
Yeah, I understand.
So the time I do have to try
I understand that. But you didn't have that time. He also didn't have that time, and he was only a baby. So it takes some time to re-warm up. You know what I'm saying? That he's a baby. He doesn't know. He doesn't know from jail. He doesn't know from jeans. He doesn't know from nothing. He just knows who's constant, who's every day, and who's kind, and who's loving. That's all they know. That's all they know.
And when he comes
They don't
around,
know
he
anything
ain't
else.
nice.
They don't know anything else.
He be yelling at him.
Yeah, because
pulling
y'all
on him.
don't. He likes to touch stuff. He will climb on something. They won't say nothing to him.
He the only one he know to yell at him.
Mr.
Yeah, I'm the only
Pearson,
person
Mr.
who
Pearson,
like him.
Mr. Pearson, Mr. Pearson. Look at this woman and say, baby, I'm sorry
I'm sorry.
that I thought that baby, that I thought Khalil, say it.
Yeah.
Baby, I'm sorry that I thought
Khalil
was not mine.
was not mine.
Because he most certainly is.
Because he most certainly is.
I think marriage at this time for you two would be a mistake, but I do want you to actively pursue growth in several areas. Individually, if you could get some counseling, that would be fantastic. You have to understand what you need to do educationally, and as far as parenting and family, that would be fantastic. Children are, they don't know from biological or whatever. They know who loves them and who doesn't love them. They know who's yelling and who's not yelling. They know who's touching and holding and who's not touching and holding. They can tell the difference between the way you treat them and that other baby. That's all. It's all you. And you determine that life. You determine their love. You determine what that's going to be. And don't let those doubts in your mind mess up that relationship. You know what I'm saying? Learn to fight the right things, okay? You talk to somebody after you leave here, because you guys need a lot of help in a lot of areas, and I hope you'll get it. And you're good people. You just haven't had an opportunity to get off square one. But in the meantime, in between time, please don't have any more children. Please. Do you hear me? Don't have any more children. You're having a hard enough time as it is getting up with the two that you have. You got some making up to do when you get home, Mr. Pearson. You understand that, sir? Yeah, yes. Get it right, get it straight, don't get it twisted. This matter is adjourned.
Today I found out that my oldest son is mine. I'm in fact happy, so I can continue try to better our relationship with my son and my lady. In the future, probably 2 or 3 years down the line, probably can get married, officially, be big happy, big happy family, So.
And I'll try to, so just he won't feel a big weight on his shoulder, like he's the only one that's been wrong in a relationship. I'll do 50-50. Hopefully we can work out. I'm pretty hopeful that we can.
Today on Divorce Court.
I'm here because I've always put Joe and my son first in our relationship, and it's time for him to put me first.
I love Mecca to death, but there's only so much I can take.
There's been plenty of times he's been on social media talking to girls. I have text messages from girls.
Mecca's always accusing me of cheating, and I admit I've had my issues with that in the past, but since then, I've been loyal, and I want Mecca to trust me.
If Joe isn't willing to change, I would have to move on, even though I really don't want to break up.
Divorce Court is now in session.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with Mecca Lassiter and Joe Days. The two of you have been together for 4 years, and you have one child together, but you do not want to be together anymore. Ms. Lassiter, why don't you tell me a little bit about your relationship and why you're here today?
Okay, great. Joe and I have been together since, we met in college in November of 2012. Shortly after we met, we started dating. We had a son together. And ever since the birth of our son, our relationship has been hell. We've had issues with his friends. His friends are my biggest concern. He spends too much time with his friends, more time with his friends than he spends with us, than he spends with his kid, than anyone. For example, our anniversary, we were supposed to go on a date. I got dressed thinking we were gonna have a good time. He was smoking weed, drinking with 6 of his friends in my living room.
Mr. Days, now I'm gonna give you an opportunity to respond. Did that happen?
Yes, ma'am, it did, but I had planned on taking her on a date afterwards.
Yeah. Now, Mr. Day, I want to help you survive a little bit. The actual day is really important to women. You know, I'm not saying it's rational, I'm just telling you what it is. So the actual day when something happened, if it's November 6th, she wants to do something on November 6th, okay?
Yes.
Just trying to help you out. Did she know you had plans for the next day?
Oh, I was gonna take her out later on that night. It's just once she finally got dressed and came and seen us all in the living room, she had a little hissy fit and ran back in the room and took her clothes
Later
off.
on that night, how late was it?
She probably was dressed around 8:30, and we were probably gonna head out probably around 9:30.
Uh-huh. Well, did you just get mad because he was there with his friends and didn't wait an hour so you can go somewhere?
Of course, because, I mean, when I come home from work and I'm expecting a beautiful scene, I'm expecting roses and, you know, a nice scenery, and I see you and your friend, he didn't look like he was dressed. He had on a t-shirt and some shorts. He didn't look like he was going anywhere. So.
You really expected scenery?
Yeah.
That's not real.
Of course. Of course.
In the past 3 anniversaries before, have you gotten rose petals and scenery?
One time, actually, Valentine's Day of this year, I came home to roses all over the bed.
Mm-hmm.
It was beautiful. He gave me a teddy bear, bought me a really nice necklace. It was great. So, of course.
You know that doesn't last forever.
Of course
You
not.
understand that, right?
Of course
You know
not.
what I mean? That's not how it ticks. But anyway, you say his friends are always at your house, not just on your anniversary, but every day.
Yes, my house is like a frat house. When I come home, they're there. When I wake up, they're there. They eat there. They sleep there. They shower there. No, seriously, they're there for weeks at a time, not just days, not just hours. They're there for weeks at a time.
Mr. Days, are your friends at your house weeks at a time?
In an incident, there was one of my friends who stayed with us for a couple weeks because he was in a bad situation. But there's been plenty of times where Mecca just comes home and my friends are just there. Like Friday nights, our house is usually the hangout place. And I can recall one Friday night, she came home mad, and we were playing the game. She just ripped my game system out the wall. Went into the bathroom, locked herself in the bathroom for about 30 minutes with my game. So we're all just sitting on the couch.
Sitting there looking at a blank wall because you didn't have a game.
Exactly.
Okay.
So.
Have you two ever sat down and discussed how you want to run your relationship and run your marriage? Like, when I get home, it bothers me when you've had that conversation?
Yes,
How did it go?
We had days. I told Joe, maybe, I can't remember the exact days. I think it was Wednesdays, because that's when our show comes on. Wednesdays, we were gonna have family time, no friends involved. Sundays, and I think it was another day. I compromised maybe 3 days out of 7 days. Do you know that still didn't work? I didn't get not one day. They're always there. I begged Joe, come watch a movie with me. No, I'm playing a game with my friends. I'm hanging with my friends. Joe, come talk to me. Ask me how was work. No, I'm with my friends.
Now, Mr. D, just sit back a little bit. Do you think you're taking it too far with the friend thing? Did you ever think about regulating that a little bit?
I have, but it's just like, they're my friends. I'd rather sit at my house and not waste my gas and go anywhere else than have them come to me. My son's at the house, so it's like I'm babysitting and hanging out with my friends at the same time.
Are you working?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you working?
Yes.
I'm so happy. You say, though, that when his friends are there, he gets all macho and disrespectful. Explain to me what you mean by that.
We were in the car a couple weeks ago. I'm talking, hey, how was work? Because I picked him up from work. How was work? Tell me about your day, something. I'm talking and laughing, having a good time, enjoying his company. In the middle of me talking, he just screamed, Mecca, shut up, and cut on the radio. And I'm arguing with him like, don't tell me to shut up. I'm grown. I'm not your kid. Don't tell me to shut up. He's, Mecca, shut up, and cut on the radio. So I sat there, and I shut up. to stop an argument. And when he left, and when his friends got out the car, I told him, I felt that was disrespectful. You only do stuff like that because your friends are around. Because when they're not around, you don't talk to me crazy. You do it when they're around, and that's embarrassing.
Mr. Days, did that happen? What she just told us about?
It did, but that's a half truth.
Okay, tell me the whole truth.
Okay, I told her I had something to do. What you have to do? Nothing, don't worry about it. She kept nagging me about what I needed to do or trying to figure out what I had to do. And I was like, don't worry about it. Just stop talking to me about it because you don't have nothing to do with it. So it's not really your business to know what I have to do. And she got mad.
Wouldn't it have been easier just to answer her question in the car? I mean, what you guys gonna do? And just say it? I mean, boom, ta-da, it's done.
That would have been easier, but she's just so nosy. It's like, why are you being so nosy? I don't understand.
Well, you're together. You're the father of her child. You were picking him up. She was picking you up. She wants to know how the rest of the day is gonna go. You don't find that a valid inquiry? You can say no if you want to. I'm not mad.
No. Honestly, I don't because it didn't have nothing to do with her. Because I mean, if she has something to do, I'm not gonna be on her back like, hey, what you got to do today? You got something to do? All right, handle that.
Got it.
We grown.
I gotcha.
I go through your phone. I'm not gonna lie. He's texting so many girls. Oh, Mecca, she's just my friend. She's just my friend. Why is your friend texting you pictures of herself, Joe? Why is your friend calling you 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning, Joe?
Mr. Days, your response to that? One of the reasons I think you ask him so many questions, Mrs. Lassiter, is you believe he's cheating on you.
Yes.
Why do you believe that?
When Joe and I first got together, he had another woman pregnant. I didn't know anything about it until later on in our
She was already pregnant?
She was already pregnant.
By the time you two got together?
Right.
Okay, he didn't mention it?
No.
Okay.
No, I found that on social media. So, nevertheless, dealing with that, I accepted it and I thought everything was gonna be smooth. It wasn't. He was going back and forth between me and her. He would be with me one night, he would be with her the other night. And I was so oblivious to it, not knowing what's going on, being in college, just oblivious. Eventually, me and her became close where it was to the point where she would text me or call me and say, hey, Mecca, have you seen Joe? Or, I would call her and say, have you seen Joe? Because we can't find Joe because Joe's probably with someone else.
Were you aware that both of you were sleeping with him at the same time and you just were cool with it?
In the beginning, no. I wasn't aware until well after he had his daughter, and after I became pregnant. So this was maybe year 2 in our relationship.
I don't understand. I mean, when I was in college, like, not getting pregnant was job 1. Graduating was job 2. It's just, Now, in order to be fair, I gotta fuss at you now. You running around getting a whole bunch of people pregnant. How you plan on taking care of all these babies?
I take care of all my children, and I would like to say, when me and Mecca first began our relationship, when my daughter's mother got pregnant, we were not exclusively together. So, I don't know who all she was dealing with, but she wasn't our person I was with, and she knew that from the beginning.
But you leave trails of babies in your wake. That's what I'm complaining about, okay? That's what, I'm complaining about that. Ms. Lassiter, you say you found out about his cheating via text. Tell me about that.
Okay, I go through your phone, I'm not gonna lie. Most people do. I go through your phone. So I'll go through his phone. He's texting so many girls. Oh, Mecca, she's just my friend. She's just my friend. Why is your friend texting you pictures of herself, Joe? Why is your friend calling you 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning, Joe? Like, you don't do stuff like that with your friend. I don't have friends. When I first met Joe, he told me I was too friendly. You don't need to be friendly. So every guy friend that I had, completely gone. Joe has at least 10, 15, 20 female friends.
Mr. Days, your response to that?
All my relationships with other females are strictly platonic. I'm not trying to sleep with anyone. I'm not trying to be anyone's boyfriend. I'm not trying to do nothing like that. All my friends, we either just going somewhere, going to eat, going to smoke, just something very platonic. She just takes it.
Platonic, anyway,
platonic,
but
I'm sorry.
Pluto is a plant. Well, actually, it's not a planet anymore. It got demoted.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this. You got a daughter, you're working, you got buddies that you're playing games with, you're smoking weed and have time to go out with other women for dinner and stuff. Do you think you're being an appropriately attentive father and mate for the person with whom you had a baby?
If you say it like that, no. But in the swing of things, it's like I'm not thinking about, oh, well, you haven't took Mecca out to eat in 2 weeks. It's just like, dang, I'm hungry. Mecca's not here. Let's go get some food. I mean, it could be like that.
One day you're gonna find out in the swing of things, your child does not have any respect for you, doesn't have any holler for you. He's not gonna do what you tell him to do, because when you were in the swing of things, he was just swinging out there all by himself. Once you have a baby, you have to let all that, baby is number one. It's just like you can't just high-five him on the way out the door. You gotta actually raise him.
I found out he took our son and this girl to the park and to the pool, and they had, I don't want to say family time, but they were spending time together. Do we have family time? No. Do we spend time together? No.
Did that happen? Mr. Days, Ms. Lassiter told me, or told us in her papers, that you don't like having sex anymore. Is that true?
No, it's not true. I love having sex. I just be tired. I've been working 10 hours straight for 3 weeks straight.
Right.
I don't want to get off work and then after working 10 hours and then have sex for 2 hours. That means I only get to sleep for like 4.
That's not true. That's not true. And let me tell you why that's not true. Because when the day that this occurred, Joe wasn't working. I was working. He hadn't been working for maybe 2 months. I said, Joe, come here, trying to be all flirtatious, come here, come into the room. We get in the room and, I'm trying to be all cute and stuff. And he's like, I don't want to have sex. And, I'm emotional. So I'm like, what's wrong, Joe? I'm just not into having sex anymore. So immediately I'm hurt, like, what do you mean you're not into having sex? Every guy likes having sex. Who doesn't like having sex? He wasn't working then. So what was your excuse?
I probably just didn't want to have sex with her.
Yeah, that can happen. They're not machines, although that can happen. Do you still feel sexually attracted to her?
Yes, definitely.
Yes, definitely?
Yes.
But you guys are on birth control, though, right?
Yes.
Hallelujah. Was it just that one time, or is it a constant refrain that he's no longer interested in a romantic life with you?
It's a constant refrain. For example, we recently had a big issue that caused a separation between us, and he didn't even show effort to be together. Like normally when Joe does things, he's made me videos.
Well, what was the big blow up you had?
I went through his phone and saw that he was talking to a girl. He was supposed to pick me up from work one day. He wasn't there at 4:30. I'm calling his phone. Joe, where are you? Joe, where are you? No answer. About 15 minutes later, he called me back and said, I'm on the way. I found out he took our son and this girl to the park and to the pool, and they had, I don't want to say family time, but they were spending time together. Do we have family time? No. Do we spend time together? No.
Were you hanging out in the park with another woman and your son? Did that happen?
Yes, that did happen, but she was trying to teach my son how to swim. And that's what we
This is the same girl. I'm reading messages, and he's, good morning, bae. How was your day? Hope you have a good day. I sleep next to him. I wake up next to him every morning. I don't get a good morning. Hope you have a good day, Mecca. Hope your day's great. Let me rub your feet when you get off work.
Let me ask you this. This blew up into a big argument, correct?
Yes.
Do you argue a lot?
Every day.
Yeah.
Why is it everything turns into an argument? What are you arguing about every day?
Hell, it could be anything simple. Like if I want to go somewhere, well, where you gotta go? I'm just going down the street. Always going down the street. What? I'm sorry, I don't want to sit in the house and lay up all day with you. So it turns to a big argument from there.
What is your vision of why you two argue every day?
We can be having a good day, and I could think of something he did in the past, and it just angers me, and I can't help it. And I tell him I'm sorry, but it angers me.
That's crazy.
I can't control that. It's something I can't control.
Oh yeah, you can control it, and I'll tell you how. Ms. Lassiter, Joe is not a grown-up. Joe is a boy. Joe is able to procreate, but he is not able to maintain a meaningful relationship or be a practical father. That's what that is. Now, you went and had a baby with a guy before you really knew who he was. And you went and made a baby with a woman before you knew who you were or was able to do with respect to having a child. You weren't ready, you weren't close to ready. You're just out there doing whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want, and you've created a mess. She would have put up with a whole lot of nonsense from you if you had simply been a little bit available. She wanted to think like she was something other than another piece of furniture at the crib. But you got her there, you installed her in there, and then you kind of said, don't bother me. I'm living my life. And that's how you lost her. You know what I mean? She's a good-looking lady. She's smart most of the time. Ms. Lassiter, how you don't keep getting mad about that kind of stuff is acknowledging who he is and then deciding what you need to do. You're the master of your life, not him. So if you're with someone who doesn't give you what you need in order to be happy, you have to make a decision whether or not you want to stay. He is who he is. He never lied about it. He never did anything other than be who he is. He's a child, you know, but who wants to live with a kid? You don't, because you're mad all the time. You're mad because he's a kid. You know, if I were you, I'd pop off. Yep, later, put him on child support. I would stretch out. From years 24 to 27, I never had a boyfriend. I had a job, I have stuff to do, but I didn't have a dude. They're not necessary in order to survive. A lot of women think they are, but they're not. You stay with a dude because he's making you happy, because he's at least trying to do the right thing. You don't just hang on to whatever piece of little boy you happen to make a baby with and try to make a life out of it, because it won't work out. You need to cover that thing up and stop making so many babies hither and yon. If you're not in the house with your children, they are denied the value of fatherhood in its full bloom. Do you understand it? And it has value. You with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Do the right thing, don't have any more babies. This matter is adjourned.
Prior to coming on the show, I honestly thought that maybe there was a chance for us. But now I think Joe needs to improve on himself before we can be together.
Judge Lynn made me realize I need to grow up. So when I get home, I think I'm gonna have to take some time away from my friends and my other, all my other female friends, and just spend some time with the family and try to mend that relationship.
Today on Divorce Court.
I do not feel like I've been married for 4 years. I feel like I've been tricked for 4 years.
Communication in our relationship, it depends on if she's in business mode, teacher mode, or wife mode.
There needs to be an adjustment on both parts, because I can't respect someone who's not respecting themselves and not respecting me.
I just want her to be on task as a wife, like I need to be on task as a husband.
Counseling is needed immediately. If not, I'm gonna walk away.
Divorce Court is now in session.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with Starron Garrett and Vincent Haney. The two of you have been together for 4 years. Now, Mr. Haney contends, I don't know if the both of you contend this, well, I'll just put it on the both of you right now. You contend that you're in a covenant marriage. Now, there is a legal thing called a covenant marriage. Only a few states passed it, and it was in response to all of these divorces for no fault. Because most states, no fault. You just got to say, we can't get along, we're getting a divorce. But in a covenant marriage, there are specific enumerated reasons that you have to prove in order to get a divorce. So they put those in there to kind of turn back the clock a little bit, and you can choose to do either one. You say that you're in a covenant marriage, but I don't think it's the same kind of covenant marriage I'm thinking. So why don't you explain to me what kind of marriage you are?
Judge Toller, I and Vincent met about 4 years ago via some friends of ours in business, and Vincent was introduced to me to help me with business. We got along. He was really kind to me, totally listened to everything I had to talk to him about, and he helped me with everything I needed to do. And we agreed to get married according to a civil marriage. I don't know anything about a covenant marriage. But so I moved from Florida to move to Georgia to live with Vincent and to get married. Once we arrived, he took me to a wedding across the street at a church. Someone else was getting married. And we said vows. I'm like, oh, that's cute. And so from then on, he said we were married. I'm like, okay, yeah, well, we're gonna have to go, you know, get the paperwork and all the other regulations for a marriage. And he kept trying to hold me to this covenant marriage. I still don't know anything about it. I don't know what it means, and I don't want to be a part of it. I want a real marriage. I was raised with marriage. My parents were married for almost 45 years until death did them part. All my sisters and brothers, all I know is
so you
marriage.
want to be regular married?
Yes, I want marriage.
Let me tell you something. You violated rule number 1A1 in the Lynn Toller How You Get It Done book for women, which is never, ever, 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 ever move somewhere to live with a guy. He's got to put a ring on it, or you ain't getting in the car and going anywhere. That's a violation of the most basic rule of womanhood. I'm just saying. Mr. Haney, how you doing?
I'm all right.
Oh, good.
How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Why don't you tell me your understanding of the nature of your relationship with Ms. Garrett?
The nature of our relationship is a covenant marriage. We did look into it. We did agree upon it. Okay. And things changed after speaking with others that didn't do research or find out about it.
Okay, now define for me what you believe a covenant marriage is.
A covenant marriage is a binding, contractual marriage, mainly from the heart. It's not as easy to get out of as you would do a civil marriage.
Right.
I have no problems in having a wedding with Sharon to solidify it, you know, for her to feel better and for her family and my family probably to feel better because they do feel like they missed something. Mm-hmm. But we did a covenant marriage mainly because of being private. Both of us are private people because of the work we do. Mm-hmm. And it was a good thing to do at the time.
Mm-hmm. But you said something very important. Now, I don't know if you were paying attention. You willing to have a real marriage? I mean, you're willing to have a...
That was the plan.
Okay.
The plan was to after maybe a year or so, to have a wedding for our family. If it was in California or Georgia.
I'm not talking about a wedding. I'm talking about a state-sanctioned marriage.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You get a marriage license and it's duly filed. No, that's what you're talking about.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
She says that she's been asking that for 4 years and can't get it.
Well, that's her perception of it. Mm-hmm. I have never told her that we couldn't have a church wedding because I'm a Christian. I am Baptist. I'm old school from the South. Mm-hmm. So I don't mind having a traditional marriage, but I think that, you know, our covenant marriage to me, is more spiritual. It's God, myself, and Staran.
Yeah.
And we didn't have any ill will. Nobody hated the situation. Nobody was jealous. Nobody picked. The only thing was that, oh, we're sorry we didn't share that experience with you. Or can you guys have a wedding?
Mr. Haney, mm-hmm. You're talking about weddings. Why don't you just go to the courthouse and marry her?
I made that suggestion until we can have a wedding for maybe about 200 or 300 people.
You don't even have to have a wedding.
But
just go to the courthouse and marry her.
She doesn't want to go to the courthouse. She's a princess. She wants the princess wedding. I have no problem with that.
Is that true?
No, ma'am. Situation at hand.
Because that's rule 2.
Yeah, that's not true at all. Vincent did not have access to his ID for 4 years, so we couldn't go to the courthouse or anywhere else and get married. I kept asking him to...
He didn't have access to his ID for 4 years? That doesn't make any sense. You get new ID.
Yes, ma'am.
I had access to my ID.
Can I finish?
That's not the problem.
What's the problem? How come it went 4 years without a marriage actually occurring?
Because some of the things that took place during our relationship, a couple of times it made her upset, I guess, because she wasn't getting the support from her family and friends. Uh-huh. And it ended up being a problem instead of just being solved. Statements like, you don't have your ID, that's why you don't want to do it, or you really don't love me, and that was never the truth. I'm not gonna fall and feed into the hype of the bull because of what somebody else thinks. I didn't need my ID because I'm at home in Atlanta. I transact my business. I'm a great businessman.
But do you like drive?
Yes, I drive. I can drive.
When you
and
have
I
a
do
driver's
have-
license?
Yeah, that's another story. Yeah.
Okay, all right. I don't want to get y'all
yeah,
messed up in here.
I buy
Can you give her a date that you'd be willing to go to the courthouse and get it done?
Actually, believe it or not, the second week we were here, I looked into the specifications of marriage according to California. Found out the financial needs, everything that's needed. It's not the same as Georgia. It's a little easier. And I found out I think you can have a.
It ain't that deep getting married anywhere. I got to tell you,
I know,
it's
but I
really
still,
not that
my
deep.
first time, I just want to make sure everything is right. Okay.
But it's not
But
hard to do. I
told her-
married people all the time. It's really simple.
And I understand that, but this is another state for me, another place. I wanted to make sure that basically I know what transpires when you get married in California, because in the East we hear horror stories about marriages in California. Okay. But I told her.
You and I talking about two different. I know what's happening here. I'm no longer confused.
If I make a statement, she thinks it's an order. I don't have a little whiny voice. I have a masculine voice. She's never seen me scream at her. I've never cursed her out. I might use profanity. I try to control it because she doesn't like profanity.
I want to talk to Ms. Garrett. During the 4 years of your relationship, what has caused you the most problem? Is it the fact that you're not married and that's upsetting for your family, or is there something interpersonally that is happening between the two of you that has caused some static?
Okay. It's the trickery behind the marriage deal. We're all grown. We know what marriage is, civilly and via, well, I don't know much about covenant, but we know in America, when we are in America, what marriage should be. And he couldn't get his ID for 4 years until I was leaving to go to California, and he was able to get it the next day. And I just really feel tricked and sad that, I've changed my life around a whole lot, to adapt and to be with him. And I agreed to marry, but I didn't agree to a game. And I'm uncomfortable with not the dishonesty and the heart, because I'm a human being. I know when you're being honest. I know when you're not being honest. I know that, him and his homeboys chop it up about, how to treat women. And that all women, are related to four-legged animals, which I finally find inappropriate. And I still dealt with it in spite of all I believe from my gut and my heart, and try to give them time to, for us to, maybe grow and understand each other and see a different perspective from both sides. I can understand, I
got it. Mr. Haney, from your perspective, how is the relationship between the two? Marriage notwithstanding.
We don't have major problems, probably like another relationship. The biggest problem, I feel, that she tries to read into things that she doesn't understand, like the statement she just made about me and my homeboys. First of all, I don't have homeboys. She might have it confused with business associates, because I am in the entertainment industry, and I do deal with people that have been unsavvy about their words, but that does not have anything to do with me.
Doesn't reflect your feelings.
No, it doesn't reflect my feelings. I have a great respect for women. I have a greater respect for my wife, because I waited till I was 47 years old to even get married. This is not a game to me. Family is very important. A whole full family. I don't want half a family. But she has to get those ideals of negativity because she doesn't understand. She needs to talk to me more and stop pushing it.
What doesn't she understand?
Well, just like she said, my outlook on women, that's not right. My outlook on women is not them being four-legged animals. That's crazy, because I have a mother, and I would never call my mother, my sisters.
What gives you that impression that he feels that way about women? I can understand you feeling uncomfortable with him, dragging his feet and doing a whole bunch of who shot John about marrying you, but what makes you believe he has that negative opinion of women?
The constant, repetitive calling women bees. I don't use that language, so I'm not going to. calling women bees for this, that bee did this, that bee got on my nerve. I'm like, that's not appropriate, you know. I'm a woman. You shouldn't call women bees, you know, your mom's a woman.
Is he verbally abusive towards you?
Yes,
Does he
ma'am.
call you names?
I told him when I first found out he did, I said, if you ever call me a bee, that's a wrap that day. I'm not, and I really don't appreciate you talking to other people like that. But he's very extremely aggressive and controlling verbally. I continue to try to communicate, hey, I can hear, I'm not a child. Do this, do that, go here, go there, sit down. I didn't ask you, if I wanted your opinion, I'd give it to you.
That's over-exaggeration.
It's over-exaggeration. Explain that to me. What?
If I make a statement, she thinks it's an order. I don't have a little whiny voice. I have a masculine voice. She's never seen me scream at her. I've never cursed her out. I might use profanity. I try to control it because she doesn't like profanity. But when she uses profanity, she forgets. When she's human, I mean, it's like I've heard the pastor say, that other girl, I know that other girl. And she looks beautiful, as she does now, and wants to look beautiful in front of everybody at all times, instead of being human, you know, instead of being stiff.
I had to separate myself to take care of my family.
So you left?
I left.
Then you moved with him to California?
We came to California together to actually try to get this resolved to see if we can fix it.
So you broke rule number 1 twice. Mr. Haney, I asked you to list 5 things that you didn't like about your intended, and you drew some extra lines and wrote some more. One thing that you said that I thought was very interesting was she has a single woman's approach to life. Can you explain that to me?
We make financial plans. Even if it's a plan to go to the movies, it's like we never talked about it. Any plan we make, she'll change it at the drop of a hat. And sometimes that's not good for financial reasons because it has something to do with business. It might be a client, it might be an event we need to go to network, and she'll just up and change her mind.
Do you do that, first of all?
No.
Give me your view on what he's talking about.
He's talking about finances, which is a whole nother story because he doesn't really, he brings them in when he feels like it. On days he's not amazing, he'll go work. And then when he goes to work, he'll quit jobs after 3 weeks because the boss isn't doing what he says do. He's lost several jobs, cost us several houses, and I try to pay bills, you know, and get things done that need to be done, and try to keep afloat because I have children. I raise 3 children. And
well, what is your primary source of income? Your business, or you have a business together, or you work for people?
My business is my primary source of my income, but I haven't been doing it full time recently because we just transitioned to California. When I lived in Georgia, we weren't living together since January this year, and I ran a group home.
Okay. I mean, the more information I get,
it's a lot.
The less I know. You say he's overbearing and controlling and critical, because you two seem like you're talking about 2 different people. I mean, it's just so off.
I would really like to finish my thought process to you.
I don't, but I got this much time.
I understand. I'll make it
really quick.
really
spend
quick.
it all talking about one thing.
No, I'll make it really quick. I had to separate myself and my finances because there was an addiction that was taking the money, and I had children to raise. So therefore, I had to pick up the pieces and start an additional business while I was running my business so that I could pay for my son and I to have somewhere to stay. Because there was a habit. I know weed is legal in California, and that's fine. And people can smoke wherever they want to smoke at. Just take care of your responsibilities. That wasn't happening in our home. So I had to separate myself to take care of my family.
So you left?
I left.
Then you moved with him to California?
We came to California together to actually try to get this resolved to see if we can fix it.
So you broke rule number 1 twice. typically when I have a couple in front of me, even though they don't agree about how things went or what was going on, I can cobble together some kind of rational story that takes both of their points of view and puts it together, and it seems like it makes some sense. I don't know what y'all talking about. And I don't think you know what each other's talking about. I don't think, you don't have the same dream, the same plan, the same direction, and I don't think that you communicate well, because what you're saying and feeling is so different from what he's saying and feeling, and you never meet in the middle. Rule 1A is Rule 1A for a reason. You never move until you got the ring. He's giving you a whole lot of reasons and a whole lot of excuses why he doesn't want to do a marriage, but a marriage is easy. Vegas is an hour away. You pop over there, you get married, it's over. If he had wanted to do that, he'd have done that. If I were you, I'd roll.
Okay.
I would go. Now, if you want to keep her, you can follow her, marry her, and I think she would stay. But you have to make that decision.
But as I said before, that's not the problem.
Yeah,
The problem is not me marrying her. The problem is how she wants to do it.
But that's what I'm saying, which is why I'm saying I think she should roll. I'm telling you the options that you have if you want to keep her. But I think because you guys are not on the same page at all.
Okay.
Y'all got to, separate. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
That, to me, is the only thing that makes sense.
Yes.
The only thing that makes sense. I wish you both the best. I really, really do. I think you're decent people. I just don't think you know who the other one is at all. And there's never a good basis for marriage. This matter is adjourned.
Thank you.
My plan is to do what we've been doing, work on our relationship. There's no problem with a wedding. She can have a wedding when she wants to.
Judge Lynn told me that I should move on today, and it's very, very painful. I've invested a lot of time into this relationship, but I'm a pretty smart human being, and I think I'll take her advice.
Today on Divorce Court.
I'm here because Noah has cheated on me multiple times. He even had a girl give him a secret phone so they can have a secret relationship.
I know she's taking care of the 5 kids, but she also needs to take care of my needs too.
I'm rushing around from morning to night with my kids and work, and I just don't have the time or energy for sex by the end of the day.
I need the judge to show Misty how to control her temper and how a woman is supposed to treat her husband.
If Noah doesn't change, me and my 5 kids are gonna be forced to leave.
Divorce Court is now in session.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with Misty Smith and Noel Smith. The two of you have been married for 2.5 years. You have 3 children together, and Mrs. Smith, you have 2 children from a previous relationship. I understand that your marriage is in trouble. Mrs. Smith, you have come here seeking assistance. Your primary concern is that you say your husband continually cheats on you. Why don't you tell me about that?
Well, right after, he's cheated a lot before we got married, but right after we got married, he said he was gonna change. About a month after we got married, I felt something in the back glove of the passenger seat, and I put my hand back there, and there's a whole cell phone. I picked up the cell phone, I asked him whose cell phone it was. He automatically got defensive. He said it was his cousin's cell phone, but then tried to throw it out the window on the highway. So he was driving, he couldn't really fight for the cell phone. So of course I had it and I started going through it. And no, it was a secret cell phone that he had between him and another female. So I went through the phone, I got the female's phone number, and I called her off of their phone. Whenever I talked to the female, she said, yes, I've been seeing him. And then the only thing she was worried about is that she wanted her phone. So I said, okay, well, good luck.
So she was paying for the phone?
Oh yeah, she was paying for the phone bill. She bought him a brand new phone. So I pawned the phone just to get rid of it and get out of my sight. And I let her know that he tried to throw it out the highway window. So me and the girl kind of got into it. And then later on, he told me that the girl wanted him to move to Austin with him, with our kids, and be stepmom. And this is while we're married. This is like a month after we were married. But he said that he was just like...
I was not finna leave.
Yeah, he wasn't gonna leave. He was just being friendly with the girl or whatever.
Mr. Smith, would you care to respond? Is any of that accurate?
Some of it is accurate, but I wouldn't say not all the way. Yes, I did have a phone that she had gave. Was going through a little problems. She's not so innocent herself, but
So you were seeing this other woman, and you had a relationship with her.
Well, I wouldn't call
that was significant enough for you two to get a secret phone so you could contact each other constantly. I mean, that's what you're telling me, right?
That's clearly what happened.
Because of what happened?
You know, I was going through a little issues with my wife. You know,
what issues?
Well, I have had pictures and had somebody tell me that she was in my house when I was at work with another guy in front of my house. In front of my house is a picture of her and him close by touching. So this is around the time around the time the phone came up. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I know I messed up. Mm-hmm. But one thing about it is that when I mess up, I own up to it. Mm-hmm. So I had no problem telling her that I messed up. And my reasons for that is because I give her the benefit of the doubt of whether she wants to stay with me or not. But one thing she does not do is she doesn't give me the same thing.
What do you mean she doesn't give you the same thing?
Meaning, we've been together for 5 years, 5 kids all together, and she swears up and down that she's never stepped out on me at once. She's very much tit-for-tat type of person. And I believe when she says, I never cheated on you, to me it's like insulting my intelligence.
Give me an example of when you've caught her cheating, why you know she does in fact cheat.
One of the examples was one night we was out drinking with some friends, and it was brought up that she had slept with one of her friend's baby daddy, which was a friend of mine, which I became very cool with. And when her friend put her out there in front of her on blast, she was crying to her. She told her she couldn't believe what she done. She couldn't believe that she did it, and she told her that she was fake. All she could do was put her head down and not say nothing. Now, to me, that's like guilt. That's a sign of guilt.
Were you two married at the time?
No, it was in her past, but the point that I don't care about her past. Whatever's your past is your past, but don't have me looking stupid. And
you brought it up that she's cheating on you as the reason why you cheated on her. Then you gave me a story that's way in the past, and you say you don't bring up the past.
But no, but
You've confused me.
I know I may not be confusing me, but it's just it was in her past, but it was recently brought up, and then that she told her that about everything about her sleeping with.
She was put on blast recently, is what you're saying.
Yes, and about her sleeping with her baby daddy, which she denied. I still don't know the truth, and she just didn't say nothing. Now, a person who was telling the truth would have spoke up on that.
Okay, so, I'm with you. I got there. It was a circuitous route, but we got there. Mrs. Smith, you say he cheated on you with one of your closest friends. Why don't you tell me about that?
Can I bring up what he just said real fast?
Yeah.
This was about 6 years before I even knew him. And no, I never slept with the baby's dad. I was dating his brother. So no, that was a lie. And
so that's some real old stuff.
Yes, and she said.
But it's the lies that makes me have my reasons of
Like
doubts.
I said before, I never met him. And she said that she heard that from her sister. She didn't hear that firsthand.
You don't have to defend yourself anymore. When I found out it was 6 years before you two got together, his story became ridiculous.
And then
tell me about his cheating with your friend.
Yes, this is another thing. My friend, 2 of my girlfriends, I was very close to the female. My friend went up to Houston on a vacation with the other girl who had slept with my husband. And my friend was like, Misty, I just went through her cell phone. You know that they're sleeping with each other. They have all these messages. So I confronted Noelle. And I was like, are you sleeping with my friend? No, why would I do that? She's nasty, she's ugly, all this and that. So a year later, we're in a petty fight a year later. Oh, that's why I slept with your friend. And put out the girl's name. And I was like, oh, okay. But I already knew it was true. I just didn't want to believe it because the girl's baby's father had called me and her cousin.
Okay, so you confirmed it a year later. Is that what she's saying?
That happened before I was married.
Yeah, but you guys were dating at the time.
Yes.
Yes, and you confirmed it a year later. So you don't really actually fess up to what you do
caught.
once you get caught.
but I own up to it.
After he has no reason. He can't deny it.
You didn't know no up to it. You used it as a dagger to hurt her when something else happened. You didn't own up to it. You used it as a weapon. Said, yeah, and I slept with your girlfriend. That's just tacky, wrong, and ratchet.
Sometimes we might get a little bit loud. I don't call her names like that in front of my children.
They heard you. I'm telling you right now, they heard you. My kids heard all our arguments. And we weren't nasty, ratchet, and loud. They heard what you call her. Don't pretend that they don't, because they do. Mrs. Smith used to be a stripper, correct?
Yes.
She says that you bring that up whenever you argue or in front of the children and hold it against her. Is that true?
I would say things like that just to get her attention because her mouth is so loud and it's pretty much the worst mouth I've ever heard in my life. And I have to say things like that to get her attention for her to calm down.
That makes her calmer?
No, but it gets attention for me to say what I have to say about the problem that we're having.
Do you mean she's not listening to you, but as soon as you bring up the fact she used to be a stripper, all of a sudden she starts listening to you?
And it's the craziest
thing.
I know. Yeah.
Mrs. Smith, why don't you tell me how you believe he uses your former profession against you?
What happens is that me and him will be arguing, and he's told my kids flat out before, this is why you don't get married. You don't want to be with anybody like this. Your mom cheats. Your mom does. He's never once caught me cheating. Never once.
That is not.
Do you call her names and disparage her character right in the presence of your children? Not necessarily to them, but where they can hear you.
I don't do that in the presence. To me, my kids they're not like eavesdroppers or where they're trying to hear everything. But even though I do know kids do catch on quickly. But no, I would talk to her in the room, and sometimes we might get a little bit loud. I don't call her names like that in front of my children.
They heard you. I'm telling you right now, they heard you. I had a really big house. My kids heard all our arguments. And we weren't nasty, ratchet, and loud. They know when something's wrong. They heard what you call her. They heard you do that. They heard you disparage her character. They heard you say you cheated on them. Don't pretend that they don't. Because they do.
Okay.
And
it goes to also that she's not just so innocent too.
Tell me what she's done.
She calls me all kinds of things in front of the kids. She'll call me a cheater. She'll curse at me in front of the kids, very bad vulgar language, and it's not just me. It's not just me. It's always it takes two.
It takes two. Ms. Smith, are you loud and ridiculous at home?
Very.
Once he gets me started, I'm gonna be completely honest. You can't shut me up. Once you get me to that point where I'm already riled up, it's gonna take a whole force to shut me up.
And do you believe that is good for your children?
I don't believe that's good at all. That's why I'm here to try and get this worked out to where we can be calm and civil, or else this marriage is gonna go down the drain.
You know, you can't get any more than you expect of a person. Mm-hmm. And you can't get mad at getting less than you expected if you didn't expect much. So some of this you gotta own.
Yeah, and I do.
You gotta own, you knew who he was, you knew what he was doing, and you married him anyway. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna talk about what we do once you own that kind of behavior.
As soon as I'm pulling up at 6 o'clock in the morning, guess who's pulling up right behind me? Misty.
So she had the nerve to be doing exactly the same thing you were doing. And that's the reason that you came in the house and tore it up. That's what you're telling me, right? So, Mr. Smith, she does have quite a temper on her, I understand.
Yes.
And please, why don't you tell me some of the things that she's done that were just off the charts?
One of the things she done off the charts is that we was having an argument and she went into the kitchen and literally broke every dish in the house. Throwing plates on the floor, cups, glass, throwing stuff at me, all kinds of stuff.
Now, could you ask him why I did that?
Why did she do that?
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
Why did I do that? Because he kicked in all my closet doors. He went and clicked in all my closet doors. He decided to go into my house while we were already arguing. I wasn't there. I get home, My closet doors are kicked in like a kung fu fighter came up my house, like literally chopped in the middle. And I was like, oh, really? You want to mess up my stuff? Okay. So yes, I got dishes, ashtrays, and mugs and threw them right above their heads, him and his brother, for going up my house and destroying my house, where my kids live at.
And my reasons of doing that is because I had did this bachelorette party, and she was supposed to be at home.
And I told him I was leaving.
When I went out, I came back home around like 6 o'clock in the morning. And as soon as I'm pulling up at 6 o'clock in the morning, guess who's pulling up right behind me? In a red little dress with red lipstick, hair done, makeup all done. Misty.
So she had the nerve to be doing exactly the same thing you were doing. And that's the reason that you came in the house and tore it up. That's what you're telling me, right?
And
you really thought that was a good story.
And whenever we were pulling up, guess what he was doing? When we pulled up at the same time. My friend said, Misty, he just threw condoms out the dumpster. My friend, I thought she was lying. My friend got out of her car, went into the dumpster and pulled out a box of condoms that he had just thrown out.
Hold on.
I had all my kids with me whenever I pulled up. I was at my friend's house down the street.
You did not have kids.
I didn't have kids.
It wasn't a box. At the party, it was, they were throwing condoms all over the place. Condoms, money, and I had one in my back pocket. And I try to be slick, and I try to throw it in the dumpster,
I know. The joint's never yours. It's just in the car. Been a judge for a long time. Who bleached whose clothes?
Oh, she bleaches my clothes.
Tell me about that.
I think after that night, when I came home from there, I had left. We was arguing so bad that I left and I went home to my mother's. And she texted me the next day and said, if you don't come back, I'm throwing all your clothes outside. She threw all my clothes and shoes outside on the bench. And when I came back, half my clothes, worth $700 worth of clothes was bleached.
Did you do that, Mrs. Smith?
I sure did. And this is the reason why I did that. Me and him are on the same plan. I can easily go into his messages.
He's cheating on you.
But that whole point is that I had went on, I looked up our call history.
No.
He's ignoring my calls all night long. He's calling his ex.
No. You actually think that story is important. You really do. And it's not. Because I don't need to hear how you caught him or when you caught him or how outrageous this was. We already know he's tacky. We already know he runs the street. We already know he's a traveler. You get all caught up in the specifics and you don't see the big, huge, hulking error that is your union. I mean, it's just error-filled. My heart aches and breaks for your children. They are living inside a tornado of ignorance, ratchetness, foulness, ugliness. They're living inside a home with a couple of 2-year-olds who are living a life of immediate gratification, constant frustration, ongoing indignation, and no thought whatsoever about the lives that they created in the middle of this tornado. Mr. Smith, your wife is a crazed individual. She's outlandish, crazed, off the chain. And you're the dude that made her crazy. You made her crazy with your conduct. You made her crazy with your crudeness. You made her crazy with your hurtful words. You made her crazy with the manner in which you do the wrong things to her. You made her crazy. So every day, she's waiting for the next one, for the next girl, the next hurt, the next pain, the next argument when she can find out about the last girl that you did that she hadn't found already because you hold that stuff in your pocket so you can hurt her when you got a shot at it. How low can you go? That's the mother of your children. It's like if you had your children on a table and just started chopping out the legs. That's the same thing. Their stability is determined by her ability to stand up, and you're kicking her down every other day. You need to stop it. If you can't be a man true to one woman, don't impregnate people. Don't run around and tell that lie, I will be faithful only to you, if you're unable to do it. Don't do it. It's not fair to you, it's not fair to her, and it's not fair to kids. Let me tell you something. He is who he is, and you married him. And you knew who he was when you married him. Then you got the nerve to be upset that he was who he was, even though you knew. Rings don't mean anything to people like that. And then you think, okay, in response to him being a jerk and a fool and a foul individual, I'll just be a loud and a crazy and a ridiculous individual, and to hell with the kids. Let them grow up crazy. Let them grow up in chaos. Let them see the doors broken and the dishes down and all of that. Let go ahead, because I want a cheater. I want this nasty man for my husband. I'm going to tell you two something. I'm going to send you to somebody to get you started on this, but you need to be embarrassed and ashamed. I mean, just embarrassed and ashamed. You can't raise the next generation of people if you two are acting like 2 years all day, every day, fussing and cussing and sleeping around. It's untenable. You will destroy them. This matter is adjourned.
A lot went on in there, but I'm pretty sure that he's gonna change. I'm pretty confident that he's gonna change because he doesn't want to lose his children and his family.
I did a lot to my wife, and I understand what I did, and I'm gonna step up, stop the childishness, and step up and be the man that I'm supposed to be.
If he's not gonna make these changes, then me and my 5 kids are gonna be leaving.
Today on Divorce Court.
I want the judge to tell Gary to get his mess together and stop trying to be a womanizer.
I never cheated on her. I can't stop what she assumed, what she been told. I can't just do anything about that, but try to convince her that I haven't.
I know that these issues affect our family as a whole, and that's another reason why I'm here today, so we can fix it and bring our family back together again.
Divorce Court is now in session.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with Destiny McCraney and Gary Dykes. The two of you have been together 4 years, married for 2, but your marriage is currently in the ditch. You would like to see if I could help you through these matters, but if not, Ms. McCraney, you want several $1,000s awarded to you from Mr. Dykes, and we'll talk about that when we get to that stage. Ms. McCraney, I'm going to start with you. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your marriage and how we got to this point today?
Well, Your Honor, I'm here to save my marriage. Back in early 2012, I met Gary on a phone chat line. We talked on the phone several months before we met in person, and once we met in person, we started dating. Then 3 years later, we got married, which was March 2014. And the marriage was okay till about 6 months ago, and things started going downhill from there.
What happened 6 months ago that changed the direction of your marriage?
Well, first our sex life decreased down. It went from 3 or 4 times a week to about once a week. Being that he's 36, he's a young guy, so it shouldn't decrease unless he's out there doing something.
Did you believe he was cheating on you as of 6 months ago?
Yes.
And do you have any evidence of that?
Not no hardcore evidence. Outside of his ex messaged me on social media saying that they had talked after he said that he wasn't going to talk to his ex anymore.
Okay, Mr. Dykes, she's made several accusations here. One, that the sex has decreased significantly, and that you're still talking to your ex. What do you say about that?
Well, first, Your Honor, I would just like to say, as far as talking to my son's mother, she's the one who have the issue with that, and I feel like
I don't have an issue with that, Your Honor, at all.
Ms. McCraney, I will get to you.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I feel like, you know, to have a child with someone, you have to have
You have to talk to him.
When she found out that we would talk or whatever, she would get angry, and it was like certain times I lied to her because I didn't want to
deal with that.
Right. And it was just, you know, too complicated to just deal with that. I mean,
were they saying inappropriate things to one another?
Yes, he told her right in front of my face that he loved her. What kind of mess is that?
Did that happen?
Honestly, that was like when we first got together. I'm not gonna lie to you about that, Your Honor. And I'm not, it did happen.
Mrs. McCraney is hot. Was it when you two were first seeing each other that happened? Or was it since you were married?
No, Not since we've been married, when we was dating each other. But that's still disrespectful, though.
It is disrespectful, but I think I can understand the slip. You're just starting to date somebody. This is a woman that you have a child with. I love you. You know, could happen. You think?
No. That's totally out of line.
Why do you believe that the marriage started to disintegrate about 6 months ago?
Yeah, I would say that.
Why do you believe the marriage
I mean,
took a different trajectory?
Things just went to changing because it was like, I think she was just insecure about a lot of things and
It's not true.
just basically everything I done, she thought I was just lying to her, and it was just
Because he's known for lying.
What?
He's known for lying.
He's known for lying. Kind of tell me a few of the lies you've caught him in.
Well, the ex, and then him going to a strip club when he's supposed to be hanging out with his friends when we came up to the agreement that we wasn't going to no dang on strip clubs.
Did you go to a strip club after you promised not to?
Your Honor, that's a lie.
That's not a lie.
That's a lie.
That's
and
not.
I just don't.
Did you?
Because for the most part, I have tried to be honest with her about a lot of things, and she just.
My
I feel
cousin
like she
spotted him
couldn't
in the strip club, Your
She couldn't
Honor.
handle the truth.
Ms. McCraney, let me ask you a question. What? You are very, very angry.
Yes.
And so far, I've seen all he's done. He talked to the ex early on in the relationship and said she loved her. Mm-hmm. And he went to a strip club. You seem to have an inordinate amount of anger for such small things.
No, he comes
What am I
home
missing?
at 5 o'clock in the morning, smelling like cheap woman's perfume.
Do you stay out all night?
No, ma'am. That's not true.
That
I
is
mean,
You never
very
came in
much
at 5
true.
o'clock in the morning.
no, I never did that.
That is a lie, Your Honor.
That's not true.
Why would I sit up
and,
here making up this type of
basically,
mess?
she the one never wanted to communicate about a lot of things, a lot of issues we have had. She just never wanted to communicate. It was always frustration, always anger.
That's a lie.
So it was like, how could you talk to somebody always angry?
Ms. McCraney, can I say this? You're angry now. And you got there quickly. And I know you've been through a whole lot of things that I don't know anything about. I know some of it because I've got what you've said here. But your anger is, you run hot. And can you see how the level of your ire would kind of keep him from wanting to talk about stuff?
Your Honor, when you married, you're supposed to come as one. If you can't talk to the one that you married with, there's no marriage.
Yeah, but he can't talk to you without you getting angry.
That's not true.
Your Honor, then on top of that, not just to mention she get angry, she want to get physical a lot of times. And it
What
just
has she done physically?
hit me, like push me in my face, slap me, all type of stuff. I mean, she done these type of things. And it's like, you know.
Ms. McCraney?
She's
You
gonna
want to take
deny
the
it.
fifth?
She's gonna deny it. Of course, she's gonna deny it. And she have always, like, when a lot of times she won't communicate, she want to shut down, and then
Oh, so
when
that
she
gives you an excuse to be out all night and come in the afternoon the next day, Gary?
Okay, hang on. When she does, it's anger.
Yeah, it's anger. So it's like, how can you just really want to try to keep peace? And that's something I try my best to do with her, and we just don't.
Okay, I got you. You have the most outstanding proof I've ever heard of cheating. Can you explain what happened?
Basically, I came home from work one day, and I walked in my house, and her and my friend was having sex. And it was like, you know.
Ms. McCraney, did that happen? Mr. Dykes, when people come in here, they talk about having suspicions of cheating and proving it through text and phone and everything. But you have the most outstanding proof I've ever heard of cheating. Can you explain what happened?
Well, Your Honor, basically, I came home from work one day, and I walked in my house, and her and my friend was having sex. And it was like, you know.
Ms. McCraney, did that happen?
Yes, Your Honor, it did.
Can you explain, how long had you been married when that happened?
About a year and a half.
Year and a half?
Yeah.
What precipitated that?
Because of his cheating and lack of attention and lack of sex and everything else.
Now,
I wanted to get caught.
Yes,
I wanted to get caught.
You wanted to get caught because my understanding is that you were in bed with that guy at the very time that he comes home from work.
Yes, Your Honor, I was.
So you were looking to hurt him by having sex with a friend of his.
Yes. Which is, I know is the wrong way to do it, I know.
Yeah. I was going to ask you what were you hoping to accomplish, but you've acknowledged that it didn't make any sense.
No, it was wrong.
What is the best proof you have that he's cheating or that he's doing something wrong?
Coming home smelling like cheap woman's perfume.
Your Honor, that's a lie. That's not.
It's just not happening.
Yeah. I don't understand why would she even say that
because it's true.
I just go to work and come home. That's the only thing I do.
No, that's a lie.
Well, do you admit to Facebooking different men and telling them that you want to have sex with them?
No, that is a lie. Straight up lie.
Your Honor,
that's what he did.
I have caught that on social media several times.
Well, what did she say?
Like one time, I caught her a situation where she basically was on the phone with a guy, ran in the bathroom, and the guy I picked up the phone. I took the phone out of her hand, and he said to me, "Well, you need to ask your wife, who am I?"
How could you even make up something like that? That is a total lie.
We could go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth this, but I think I got the idea of it. You say he's disrespectful of you and he embarrasses you in front of your family. Tell me what's happening there.
Yes, Your Honor. There was a family reunion on my side of the family. Now, mind you, I have a big family. My parents was there as well. So it was they rented out a recreational center type environment. So, anyways, Gary decides in front of everybody, my parents included, 75 plus people was there. He decides to stand up like he's making a public announcement and say, excuse me. So, of course, everybody's eyes gonna go on the person. He's gonna call me all kinds of B words and hoes and sluts and how I sleep around and stuff like that. So my cousin, she wanted to jump up and fight him, but I told her, you know what, it's not even worth it. It's not worth going to jail. And so we ended up leaving, taking a ride, and going to have some drinks.
Okay. Mr. Dykes, do you recall that incident?
No, ma'am, because for one,
really,
Your Honor, basically I would never disrespect her parents.
Did anything somewhat like that happen?
No.
Did you get drunk and have an argument and call her names in front of her family?
I would never disrespect her in front of her family, in front her period, because she's my wife at the end of the day.
So nothing that could even be interpreted like that ever happened?
No, not as far as me calling her out her name. No.
No,
never.
But as far as what? You said as far as her calling out a name, have you said negative things about her to her family?
No, ma'am.
That's a lie, Your Honor.
No.
I don't know why he's standing up
Have you disparaged her to anybody in front of her?
No.
He went around the whole town degrading my name, Your Honor. The whole town degrading my name.
Was this before or after you slept with his friends?
It was after. But he had no business doing that, though.
I got you. You say his money never makes it home.
There's been times it started in as his paycheck being short. Then next, he just didn't even get paid at all. So if you're not bringing the money home, then you obviously giving it to another woman.
Beyond the cheating, I think you two have two primary complaints about one another. You say his money never makes it home.
Exactly.
And you believe it's either another woman or the strip clubs, and you say she just doesn't act like a wife at all. She doesn't do any wifely things.
Oh, no.
So I'm going to start with her, and then I'm going to go to you. Ms. McCraney, why don't you tell me what money isn't coming in, and where do you think it's going?
There's been times it started in as his paycheck being short. He said they made a mistake on his paycheck or whatnot. Then next, he just didn't even get paid at all. So if you're not bringing the money home, then you obviously giving it to another woman. Because why isn't it coming home?
Do you think he has any other bad habits? Is he a gambler? Is he a drinker? Do you know he's got anything else that would suck up cash like that?
No, ma'am. No, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Dykes, can you respond to that? Where does your money go?
I bring home the money. She pays the bills. And, you know, she normally pays our bills through internet. And I don't even know how to really work a computer, so.
So she does it.
Yeah, she does all the business.
Your Honor, he's not bringing home his paycheck because I had to front the money up for the bills so we wouldn't be in the dark and have water and have a place to stay.
Now, hold up, Mr. Dykes. Did you not bring money home?
Well, honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you, Your Honor. When I caught her in the bed with my friend,
That was before.
I did stop paying the
before.
bills. I did. I'm not gonna lie, but before then,
Before that, it was all. You're saying it was
everything
all
was
cool.
all good.
That
But
was
you
before.
say he stopped long before that.
Before, yes.
Your primary complaint about her, she's just, other than the fact that she's jealous and slept with your friend, she doesn't act like a wife. She doesn't cook. She doesn't clean. She
don't do none of that. I mean, yeah, basically, she need to. I think she need to learn how to be a wife and to respect her marriage and her husband, and and.
Does she work outside the home?
Yes, she does.
She has a full-time job?
Yes.
Okay.
Why would I respect him?
Well, let me ask you this. If she has a full-time job, why is it, do you believe that it's the cooking and the cleaning is her full-time job as well? Or isn't that something you two should share?
I feel there's something we should share, in which I have, did my part in that area.
Really?
But overall, she just basically won't even do it herself.
Yeah.
So, and it's like,
Kind
sometimes
of getting the feeling you think is her gig, though. I'm getting that feeling. A wife cooks and cleans. Whether or not she goes out and pays bills, too, she cooks and cleans. Is that accurate?
In a sense, yes.
Yeah. You know that really upsets us.
Yes.
Oh,
you know what I mean? To take half of your burden off of you by paying bills, you should take half our burden off us in the home. That's how we feel about that. All right? I'm just put that out there for you. At some point, somebody changed this proceeding from divorce to save my marriage, and I'm not quite sure why. I don't know what I could. Usually I got something to say. Usually I can find a little bit of here and a little bit there and kind of tease it out and get it together to put this union back together, but I can't even get you guys to agree on what you disagree about. It's like her stories are so, this is what happened, and you say it never happened, so I don't have a basis to determine what did happen. You say he stays out all night frequently, and he says he never does.
He's lying.
And, he
wants to make me look bad and make him look great. No.
There's no, let me say this. I'm going to give you opportunity to fess up to some things because there's no way you could look worse than what she did. So are you running out and staying out till 5 o'clock in the morning? Come
Hanging
on,
out with your womanizing friends.
Come on, I'm trying to save your marriage. You gotta cop to it if you did it.
Your Honor, I can just say this. I have done it once or twice. But overall, all the other accusations, it's not true.
Oh my God, that is such a
It's not true.
lie.
Here's what we got. I'm not going to deal with that money because you two are going to go home together. You guys got a lot of work to do. Here's what I'm going to say to the two of you. Everybody's got to own all of their behavior. Mm-hmm. And if you don't own all of your behavior, you can't address the things that make her crazy. So to the extent that you kept denying you did any of that ever, and now you tell me that you have done some of it, that means you don't acknowledge your errors, which was making her crazy. I think you have an anger issue. I think you're hot-headed, and that sleeping with a friend was out of anger. You're looking to hurt people. You're so insecure. You're so frightened that he's now lying about stuff that he doesn't need to lie about because he just don't want to tangle with you. Do you understand what I'm saying? You need to decide whether or not you two really want to put a period on everything that happened and move forward. Because you can't say, I want my marriage to be saved, but I won't bring home any money after he slept with my friend. You see what I'm saying? Those things, put your hand down. Those things don't equate. You with me on that one?
Yes, ma'am. You
have to change.
He made me this way.
Yeah, but he can't change you back. You do. You have to change. And if you don't want to change, then don't stay married. But you have to make a decision to change. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
I'm going to send you to a psychiatrist. She ain't going to stay with you long enough, but she's going to get you started. And if you still want a divorce later on, you know, well, don't come back, but but you say that's what you want. But what I'm telling you is you've got to decide to let go, forgive, and change, and you've got to decide to fess up, forgive, and change. That's it. That's all. This matter is adjourned.
I'm gonna be honest about everything because I love my wife and I want to work our marriage out, and I just hope we can work it out at this point.
I think this marriage can be saved with a lot of counseling and both of us working together.